Hey there, and welcome to the Mind Body Health podcast with myself, Dave Sheahan, high performance consultant, and for over 27 years, hard to believe, 27 years now dedicated to educating, motivating, and I do truly hope inspiring people just like yourself to live your best life. And like my mottos always are, live life fully, and most importantly, live in fear of regret. Because again, you get one chance at this. I want you to realize your full potential. I want you to have your best life possible. And we here on the Mind Body Health podcast, both myself and my guests, do all we can to hopefully inspire you in our journeys and our ups and downs, but also educate you in the real facts. Because we live in a time now when there's never been so much information, but unfortunately, a lot of it's absolute garbage. There's so many supposed, inverted commas, experts out there. So this podcast is about telling you the facts, telling you the truths, telling you what will actually make a positive impact in your life and how it will fast track it. You, of course, have to take action on that. So we give you the tools, give you the strategies, give you the information, give you the inspiration. We hope you then have to go out there and put in the work. I'm delighted on this particular episode of the podcast. I've got a very special guest. His name is Colman. He's a personal trainer. He's an author. He's a big social media influencer. He's big into organic farming and is my own personal mentor and helping me to grow my own food now as I do my best to become self-sufficient. And he's recently had his birthday. I won't give his age away. He can give it away if he wants to, but he's only a young fella, especially compared to me. And he's making strides now in the media as well, which again he deserves, and he's right personality for. And I'm sure you're going to really enjoy this conversation. I know we're going to give a lot of value, and just enjoy it, have fun. And Colman, welcome to the Mind Body Health podcast.
Most certainly, Dave. Thanks for having me on, and the beautiful, I suppose, intro in relation to my birthday, what I do, who I am, and I can further expand on that. Yes, I am the same age that Jesus was, and the point is that he died at 33. But Jesus, I hope they don't nail me to a cross.
That's a good comparison now, huh? You're only getting started.
I'm only getting started. Yeah. Don't kill me now, lads. I'm only getting good now. And that's
But look, the thing is, bottom line, like over the last couple of years, especially, you put in the work, you're working night and day, but you're doing it because you're passionate, you want to help people, and you genuinely want to. And like I said, we live in a time where there's so much information out about everything, which should be a good thing, but unfortunately it's not a good thing because there's so much garbage out there and bullshit, basically. And again, supposed experts, there's experts qualifying in all kinds of stuff over a day, over a weekend, without ever actually making any proper impact in the course or even being directly with people. And that goes for personal training, goes for all kinds of therapists, everything. And it's important, again, to have people like yourself on who are walking your talk, you're doing it, you're showing what can be done and what people need to do, and you're keeping it simple, which is what people need. They need simple, actionable steps and make it realistic for them, rather than being pure, over scientific and nearly people, wanting themselves to look like they're on a pedestal, as opposed to, look, we're all just normal people. We're all having our own journey, and we all can make a difference in other people's lives, and that's all we're literally doing. So, you're doing great work. I really admire all you're doing. It was great to spend the day with you in the Grow Your Own Food course, which I absolutely loved. And we'll go into more detail about that and my experience and what you're doing and upcoming events, of course, as well as giving tips on it. But what we always start with the podcast is, going back to the start, let us learn a bit more about Colman, as a young fella, even like the different parts of your journey, because while everything's amazing now and you're seriously riding a wave, and that continue, I hope, for a long time, I'm sure there's been tough times as well as the good times, and kind of just share our journey up along the way and kind of what the hell brought you to where you are right now and what you do right now.
So I suppose, what was the younger version of Colman and what way did he start off? I was someone who was actually extremely, I suppose, shy and weak and small. Still small, you can't change your height, but you can change how you hold yourself. And that's one of the things that massively changed, I suppose, out throughout my 33 years that I'm here on this planet. So the idea was, when I was in school, I was dyslexic. I was someone who was even told that I wanted to maybe be a teacher, was told I wouldn't be a teacher. And then I'm the kind of fella that, I suppose, lean towards the likes of doing things that you're told not to do, right? If you're told that you can't press the red button, I'm always one of those fellas who would and love to push the red button. And being told that I couldn't be a teacher because I was dyslexic and couldn't even spell correctly in any of the essays that I handed up to teachers, that was something that didn't sit well with me. And I said, geez, there's got to be some way that I would love to do it long term, further down the line. Going through school then was someone who didn't get onto the sports teams, was extremely active, would have been someone who never missed a training session, but still found it very difficult to start on any of the teams, whether it be football, whether it be hurling, whether it be soccer, but I always was there. Would have even the boots packed in one side of the bag, and the tape for taping around the boots, having waxed and Vaseline all the way up so no muck would stay on the boot. So I'd run that a little bit faster. And it's kind of these kind of small little things that still stand to me to this day. I have a routine, I have a plan, I have a lifestyle. That's what it is in a
Quick one
nutshell.
on that, Colman, just in terms of sports. I'm interested in that because again, I would be very similar to you like that when I was young in sports and giving everything I could. But how much was it like a self-belief thing, a lack of self-belief to kind of maybe wasn't the progress versus talent, like for you in your own search situation?
Yeah, I did lack the talent that was, and the skill, okay, but I most certainly had the determination, which really, really did help me. I'm going to say that something that massively is very, very important is the fact that I would have loved more mentors or more coaches even to help me. Okay, I didn't get my first mentor. My first personal mentor can be anyone, either physical, mental, business, relationship, to point you in the right direction. I didn't get a personal trainer until I was 21 or 2. Okay, that's someone who pointed me in the right direction of actually how to do things correctly in relation to exercise. Right, I had coaches on sports teams, but again, that's not specific enough. They're looking after a panel of 30. And same like right now, you have, let's say, take for example, anyone that you're following on, whether it's Dave, myself, or anyone else in between. You're looking at all these different people. They have thousands of hundreds of people that they're looking at and passing on information to. If you want specific results, if you want to excel and get from where you are to where you want to be a little bit quicker and a little bit more direct, get a coach, get a specific fitness, health, nutrition, mindset coach that really boosts you. Because I wish that I'm going to say that I could have been an unbelievable athlete. I label myself as an athlete right now, but I didn't compete at a county level in sports, hurling or football. I didn't compete at an international level, which I'm sure that I could have, whatever sport it may be, or pick or choose. The thing about it is, getting coaches really does shorten your learning curve. Okay, so that's something that I'm passing on to every listener or viewer of this podcast at this moment in time, because right, that's what they do. Coaches have learned and made loads of mistakes. I've made loads of mistakes and that's it. That's my first one. Okay, get a coach, get a personal individual to look after you in whatever area that you want to improve, whether it be financial, whether it be relationship, whether it be with your health or fitness. The idea is people have made mistakes, such as myself, and I pass them on to people. Okay, and I've one of the quotes of the day: get out the paper, get out the pen. Okay, you most certainly learn from your mistakes. However, intelligent people learn from their own mistakes, but geniuses learn from other people's mistakes. That's absolutely golden.
Exactly, yeah. And it's like I can relate again to that very much, because I would love to go back now to like a 10, 11-year-old me with the kind of mind I have now, the knowledge I have now. And because like that, at that kind of time, you know, I would have been super dedicated, determination to win. I would have done everything perfect, prepared like professional athlete. But I needed that kind of one coach, that one person to kind of put their arm around me, give me the the right knowledge and words, direction that I personally needed. And like you said, that can be lost a lot in teams because they're dealing with a big panel. And you can't, like, there's no better investment than investing in a coach and whatever it is you need. And the need will change throughout your life and whatever it might be. It's like when you took on the personal trainer, that might have been the most important thing for you at that time. Another time might be a business coach, another time might be a relationship coach. Everyone needs to look and see where they need to invest to fast track, because that's what it is. It's like for us, people we're helping. It's literally we're just passing on our mistakes, our experiences, our inverted commas failures, as well as their successes and our knowledge to help people to kind of fast track their success once they apply it. Because it's like they say, knowledge isn't power, it's implementation of knowledge that's actually power. People need to put that into practice. And like I always stress in this podcast, we share lots of great stuff with you. There'll always be great actionable steps, but if you don't bother your ass to put in the work after the podcast, it's nearly a waste of time, really.
Yeah, and I'm just going to say this is the point that I'm such a firm believer in quotes and goal setting and different things like that. Down here on a piece of paper in front of me, can't write it other than my to-do list that's scratched out above it. It is, you must, dyslexic, can't read my writing. You must outfail the competition. I've made so many mistakes. Okay, I've done things that didn't help me. I've literally I'm going to say, eating foods that weren't in alignment with what were certainly I was looking to do in my life. I have went into relationships, I've went into business, partnership with individuals. Those things I've literally passed, but I've learned massively from them. You learn every single time you make a mistake, a failure. Call it whatever you like. And the point is that when you make a decision, okay, you learn from it. Doing nothing, you learn very little from. So whether you setting out for, I suppose, on an event, okay, and you didn't go ahead of it, even though there has been people that only signed up less than 5 and you wanted 50 to 100 people. The point is, you cancelling it, you learn nothing from it. Okay, you doing the event, you learn absolutely massively out the other side of it, that these 5 people and whatever message I put out to them was what got them here. Now I need to get closer and zone in on how did I get 5, and now you get 5 more. That's 10. Okay, that's a full room. That's a full ass table. Okay, get 10 people in front of you. And the point is, you have to start somewhere, but whatever it may be. I have done talks for in the last, okay, straight away in the last year, I've done talks for less than 2 people. 2 people, less than 2 people. 2 people. Okay, but I've also done a talk on a topic of organic foods with 200 people. Okay, nobody's really shouting about the day that I had 200 people, 2 people. Right? Everyone says, Jesus Christ, Colman, isn't it great that you now have been on television and there's thousands of people? I don't know how many thousands of people watching, right? Everyone will shout about that. You won't hear it written in the newspapers or the articles about Colman that there was 2 people at an event that Colman was involved in, that they and listened to it. And by geez, they got savage value that day. I give the same effort, whether there's 2 people there or 200,000 people watching me. Okay. And that is one of the key things. Okay. It doesn't ever matter, most certainly, how fast that you're most certainly going, as long as you're going in the right direction. Improving on your trade, on your suppose your skills, your way of executing what you want and your message is. I'm clear on my message, okay? And I'm trying to get as many people as I possibly can to literally improve their lifestyle. With eating foods, either growing their own or buying it, but whatever they do, add it to their diet. Get it on the t-shirt, put it on the back. That's what I want people to literally do. It's food is key. You're becoming more sustainable. Putting an apple tree in the ground, in 3 years, you have 100 apples. Sowing a seed, whether it be kale, in literally 4 to 5 weeks, you have it germinated. After that, it's a no-brainer. You harvest it individually off the sides. And that's really you literally eating foods that haven't been sprayed top to toe with harsh chemicals, which is one of the things that I really chat about people about every single day. Your gut health is massively connected in relation to, I'm going to say, you and your mood, and 90% of your serotonin are being produced there. People ask me, "Go, what makes you so happy?" It's because I eat foods and I set goals and I set targets and I work towards them. I had a goal to get on television. Okay. I had it written down on a goals board in my room every morning when I seen it. I had a goal to write this book, being dyslexic, and as a result of that, it took me 2.5 years to write it. Okay. But the point then, in on top of that, is it's starting with a piece of paper, old school, writing it down, seeing it visually, gets it from up here to down that piece of paper to back up into your head again.
Yeah, visualization is so important, and something again that more and more people need to do, whether it be like that, writing it down, things like vision boards. We got pictures. You know, it's like what's Napoleon Hill says in Think and Grow Rich: see, feel, and believe yourself already in possession of the goal. And it's no different than Usain Bolt in the 100 meters. He would have seen himself winning that first Olympic medal probably millions of times from a very young age. And if you don't visualize, if you don't put in the work, if you're not clear on your goals, like if you don't know where you're going to go, where you're trying to get to, how the hell are you going to get there? It's like you with TV. You know, you did it now this past weekend, but that could have been another few years, or it could have happened a year earlier. The main thing was that you set that goal, you focus on it, you wrote it down, you reminded yourself every day, probably many times, that this is what I'm doing to get towards. This is one of my goals. And then it became reality. Because the thing is, if you put in the work and you're consistent, you're disciplined, and you know where you're going, really success is inevitable. It's just about taking the steps, and it's taking the steps so people, you know, fall down in, because they're just not consistent, not disciplined enough. But the reality is, it's there for everybody. It's like you're saying even earlier in terms of, you know, you potentially could have become, let's say, an international athlete in some sport, but you needed that coaching, you needed someone to fast track it, you needed someone to give you the right tools and education and develop the skills that you had and develop the strengths you had, as opposed to a lot of time it's hammering weaknesses. That's what we do a lot in society. We're hammering weaknesses instead of building on strengths. So, you know, we have that potential, and that's again what people need to embrace. If we're all just people we all perceive as who are successful, whether it be in sports, business, whatever sphere it may be in, They're just people like you and I, like we're just flesh and bones. It's just they put in the work, they're disciplined, they believed in themselves, they visualized, they did whatever it took, and they didn't let anybody or anything stop them. And that's bottom line of where success comes from. So it's a very important message you're putting out there in terms of the power of visualization, because it's something people really need to embrace.
Yeah, I'd be all for that. The thing about it is we have to start. Too many people don't start. If you don't start, you cannot gain the advantage of it. I've literally just before this, I try and fill my day and I've written down my perfect day, what time I get up at, what breakfast I most certainly eat. Okay. And on top of that, what time I start my job, what time I take my next break, what I have for lunch, what time I finish, what time I train in the evening, what time I unwind, and what time I go to bed at. That fits in and inclusive of all the things that I want. That matter that be okay, time with a partner, time with family, time to myself, going and I suppose and hitting all those things throughout your day. It's called the blueprint, and we get people that I mentor or coach on a particular online program to do the exact same thing. Nobody's two lives are the same. Okay, everyone is individual. The idea is you have to plan out your day. Planning things is very, very important. Otherwise, you do things at random. When you do things at random, you get a random result.
And if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, which is a long, an old saying, but it's true and it'll always be true. And the thing is, you have 24 hours in your day. I have 24 hours in my day. Everyone who's listening or watching this has 24 hours in a day. It's what you're doing with it. And it's like when people say they've no time for something, all it means really is they're prioritizing something else instead of it. Whether it be eating healthy food, shopping, cooking something, going exercising, do meditation, visualization, whatever it may be. You're doing something with the time. You still have had 24 hours. If you're sitting on your arse watching EastEnders for 30 minutes or Fair City or something equivalent to that, that's what you were doing. You could easily have been jumping around the room watching it if you wanted to get in your exercise there, or just go and do your exercise if that's the case. If you're ordering off like Just Eat or one of those things, online ordering for food or takeaways, you could just as well, while you're waiting, be cooking up a healthy food, making a stir fry, making a salad or whatever. So again, we all have the 24 hours. It's what are we doing with that time? So this is where there's no genuine excuse to things. It's a case of what are you doing with the time and make better use of it. And if you say you want something, go out there and make it happen, because it's there for you.
Yeah, I'd be a firm believer in that. Making things happen is 100% key.
And so obviously you've got like a huge passion about educating people and growing their own food, or where to source it. And the big thing is you take people from the baby steps. It's like when I did the course with you there probably about 3 weeks ago, I think, at this stage. Just literally from how to even get the soil right, what you have to mix up with manure, and then go into the stage of planting the seeds. So going right back to the very start, baby steps, what to do. And I'm so excited every morning. I look at my tray and like the things are booming. Like I've tried things before the last few years to grow stuff, and 90% of it probably didn't work out. A few things did, but like I've 77 plants there and 74 of them are thriving. It's pretty damn good, success rate. But it's down to, again, like you said, go back to the very start, take that first little step and then take care of it and keep taking steps. It's like I'm always comparing to going up the stairs. If there's 30 steps and 30 steps is daunting to get to the top, well, it starts by putting your left foot on the first bloody step. And then when you feel ready, put the right foot on that same first step and just keep doing it. At least you're getting closer. So, you really make things very simple, which is what I loved. You give lovely little nuggets throughout the whole experience, which we're together for, what was it, about 5-6 hours or something. Very simple. You're simplifying it, because like I said, a lot of supposed experts, it's like they're trying to blow their own horn and put smoke up their own ass, and they're trying to be over scientific and over fancy in the things they're telling people, instead of making it relatable to people who have absolutely no clue how to do anything from the very basic level of growing their own food. Where did the passion for this all come from? Like, what was the thing that stimulated you to get into this whole sphere?
Of, you're going to say growing or fitness?
Yeah, growing. Like they probably all came together to some degree anyway, but like especially like getting into the whole, growing your own food and, really getting clear to how powerful food is. You touched earlier on, but food is so important, which it is. Obviously, it's feeding our bodies, it's feeding our brains. It gives us energy. It's like your own energy and what you can do in a day. That's hugely down to the food you're eating, as opposed to what a lot of people are eating. Like, what gave you that passion? What got you into that whole area?
I suppose I'm someone who's really interested. My whole thing, day one, my thing was I just wanted to be as happy and as healthy as I possibly could. And what does that come down to? I'm a simple man. I'm from Waterford. I'm now 33, the same age as Jesus. I literally just wanted that. And I'm telling people, the simpler you make something, the easier it is for you to follow. I don't go, oh, the atmosphere needs to be at the correct temperature and for most certainly germination of each and every one of these seedlings. I say, put the compost in the tray. We add the likes of our seeds. In 2 weeks, it will grow. That's it. I don't use fancy things. I'm not a fancy man. I couldn't even tell you what. I have my own fashion. I wear a pair of shorts 12 months of the year. I then wear a t-shirt very little of the time. I try to get as much skin on my sun on my skin as I can. That's why, again, I liked and enjoyed growing, because I could be outside for a high percentage of the time. I got into it, as to get back to the point, was because I wanted to be healthy. Okay, because you are the most important person in the world, and once you're healthy, you can give then out to everybody else. And I always talk about what's the best. So food is great. Okay, not eating is not healthy. So adding food to your diet. Next thing, what's above that? So not eating, third position. Eating foods, great. What's the best foods you can possibly think of? What is out there? And I like to learn. I was interested in the topic of health, and it was organic foods. What is organic foods? Organic foods is something that's grown without harsh chemicals. It's something you either grow yourself or you buy it. Okay, that's what it is. Go to a country market, is the best place. Shake the hand that feeds you. The idea is the closer you get to the farm or grower, that ends up you having these ultimate foods. And I lived at home until I was 20, until I was 24. Then I emigrated to Australia, and after that I had what did I have? I had a master's degree in organic horticulture in my back pocket, went over to Australia and couldn't get a job in that. Spent a period of time on building sites, as an Irish, I suppose, individual does, real cruisy, handy work, but I knew I didn't want a job that was just handy. Okay, but I was still all the time entering into exercise. I was massively influenced by, I'm sure a lot of people will know it, the body coach. And a lot of people say I'm very similar to him. Why? Because he's someone who, again, has passed on information to me. And that's the thing, going either through courses of his and or in on top of that, it is something that I also recommend people to do. Just watch people that you most certainly like, know, and trust. I've gained so much information from social media and use it to your advantage. And then once I suppose came back to Ireland to set up a market garden, I knew it was on the right path. I combined the likes of my own exercise with foods, got qualified in personal training and then nutrition, and then literally set up the organic fitness program. So I was growing foods all the time. I was training all the time, and I just made incremental improvements. I wasn't a grower day one. I was studying it. I wasn't a personal trainer. I was just actively being active. I was exercising on a regular basis. And from that, okay, I'm like someone who always wants something to be better. So the point is, I put together a plan that literally education with people with foods, okay, where to get it, what to eat, how to exercise, when to exercise. And the idea is everybody's different. And I suppose then I had to tailor it to a one-to-one program that I currently do online now, with the likes of a 1-to I suppose an audience that turns up to my different grow your own courses. The next one is the 7th of October in Kildare, and Dave has most certainly been at one of those. And even the words that he said, I said, could you give me a review, Dave? And I have these written down, and I've used them as of today's post. Okay, I've learned more in the first 15 minutes than I ever did before at any other event or course that I went to. Okay, that's something that's well worth singing. Okay, because I put it in the most simplest terms, because okay, I want people to start at the beginning. Because if you try skip stages, you literally try and I suppose go do everything all at once, you'll end up, I suppose, having too much. And it's like one of those things, analogy. If you have the glass, you have the phone, you have the mug, you have the hat, you can only hold on to so many things at any one time. Okay, so I take people step by step on how to grow your own to improve your health. Once you really have increased energy levels from the food that you're eating, you then can exercise and I'm going to say be the healthiest and the happiest version of yourself. Something that I wanted, I now pass on to other people. Okay, it's like scratching your own itch, and that's where I suppose it all started from.
And it's great to, like, again, it ties in there with the way you do things and the way you teach in terms of keeping things so simple. Even your own reason was so simple. Be happier. Like how many people even think of that or use that as their reason? Like very few. When at the end of the day, in terms of life, happiness is what matters. Like nothing else matters more than happiness. And, people kind of know it, but they don't know it. They don't live lives that exhibit that that's what they're working towards. So it's great that you had that. And, at the end of the day, food is our fuel, it's our energy. And what you tied into it in terms of being outdoors all the time, even just getting the sunlight, like such simple things, walking on grass barefoot, just such simple things people can do to improve their health and well-being. And sometimes people think it's a bit woo-woo, but all they do, just give it a go for a while and you're going to see the benefit. At the end of the day, nature, like we're part of nature, everything's living being. We get energy from everything. Like the sun is our friend, not our enemy, contrary to what a lot would make us believe. But we need sunlight, like we need oxygen. Without oxygen, we're dying within seconds. Our brain's dying within like 5 seconds. We need water for hydration. We need food then for our fuel. Without these things, and we need sunlight obviously to grow and develop and so on, and vitamin D. And without these things, we don't last very long. We definitely won't thrive. We definitely won't have energy. Our brain won't work well. Our sleep will be impacted. Our mood, everything gets impacted. And this is why it's so important for people to realize that, one, they need to look at what they're putting in their mouth a lot more and be more mindful of it. And then I just say, keep aiming for better and better and better. It's like with the whole organic thing, it can be expensive, but again, what's it at the expense of, like what price you put in your health. And people need to look at what are they spending money on versus not spending on, let's say, organic, or going the other way, growing your own food and spending time. And, that's the expense then, is the time that you need to put into it, which isn't huge, but it's still time. But again, look at the benefits of it. And even the thing of getting outside, getting your hands in the dirt, getting out in the sun, and also growing your own food, and just the satisfaction of that. Because like I said, for myself, even just looking at the bloody plants, not to mind doing anything with them, gives me huge joy every morning. And every time I pass them, and every time I need to take them out to give them a bit of light in between showers and things like that. So we can gain happiness from such small things, and we do need to lead our lives with that. And I love that you have that message that for you personally and for other people, look, happiness. It's like even the energy you give off. It's, it's all about getting happiness and joy and just living life.
Yeah. And to touch on that point of foods, let's say organic foods being expensive, I can recommend and give you the ingredients list for a meal under €10. I'm going to say under even €7. We'll go under 6 that you can cook for yourself. Okay, let's go for the vegans and vegetarians here first, because I know, Dave, you'd be much more plant-based than others. So organic tofu, it costs $2.19 as of this week. I'm recording this podcast on the 25th of September 2023. If you're listening to it at a later date, it might increase with inflation. So just under €2.20. That is a full container. You can get it in the cheapest store that's out there in Ireland at this moment in time. That's little. You then, go and have the likes of organic potatoes, a packet of them. We'll go with sourdough bread. Organic sourdough bread you can get for we'll go €4. We'll go €4. Again, you're not eating the whole thing. So let's say it's €3 just for making it easier for numbers. So we'll go €3 and we'll take, how many slices would you have in a meal, whether it be breakfast, lunch, or dinner, Dave, roughly?
So again, 2 or 3.
2 or 3. We'll go 3. We'll go all out.
Yeah.
Go 3.
Right.
So it breaks down. Sourdough, we'll go deer stuff. Right. So we'll say the full loaf is €4, but we're having 3. We're having 3 slices just because we're mad hungry and we're trying to bump up and increase the price of this. So we already have the likes of our protein, which is our tofu. Your carbohydrates, the complex, are going to be your sourdough bread, which is really expensive. God couldn't afford it. Breaks down to probably, no more than 30 cents. We'll say even 50 cents. 50 cents for this now. 50 cents for the sourdough slices.
Inflation's kicking in by the minute.
Gone up. As soon as they heard this is just people can eat healthy and it's going to be cheap, they'll go, Jesus Christ, you've got to increase the price of carbohydrates. Right. Whether it's potatoes, we'll say again €4 for an organic bag, or the sourdough loaf. We have tofu. Then we're going to lean towards like spices. Spices you already have in most certainly the likes of your press at this moment in time. We'll go with maybe veg stock, organic veg stock. You might be able to get a container of it. Again, worth €5, maybe 6. You will be using a spoon. So that will say 20 cents. With 20 cents on the spices, winning. And you already have the turmeric. You already have the ginger. If you don't, I need you to get them. So then we're going on to an onion, an organic set of onions. Again, the packet is €3. There is 5 to 7 of those in it. We'll say 50 cents, but it's not 50 cents. So we're now on, most certainly, the tub. We're only using half it. It is for one person, less than a tenner. We're going to say it was about €6 or €7. We're going on the tofu. We go and push ourselves up to, we used half it. So half of €2 is €1. €1, and the sourdough is 50 cents, 150. Then we went with the likes of the onion. We are literally going and touching on the likes of our 50 cent. We're up on roughly €2. You name out the vegetables you like. Dave, what do you like? Carrots.
Throwing now avocado as well, sir.
An avocado for healthy fats, we're throwing them in the mix, right? An organic avocado. Right? I was going to keep it Irish, but we can go with avocados.
They're the price.
We're going avocados. And in on top of that, right? The avocado, maybe the dearest thing that's in the mix, you might have to pay €2, and we'll use half it. So it's back down to our euro. So we're now on $3.50 in relation to what we have. And we're going to put a bag of organic carrots to get the beta carotene, vitamin C filled, nutrient dense food item into that. You chop that up, you put it all into the likes of a pan, okay? And you literally have a meal that you can add anything else that you like. Spinach, organic bag of spinach, another vegetable for the win, high in iron, high in magnesium. Grand, we won't use the whole bag. We'll add another 50 cents on. This meal that you've just created takes, okay, costs you the value of €5. €5. The people say it's hard to eat healthy.
Yeah.
A cup of coffee can cost €4. Exactly. You tell me you don't buy a cup of coffee in a week. Madness, right? You could change that protein item to lentils, and even organic lentils wouldn't be a steal past, I'm going to say $2.50 or whatever the price may be. Maybe they're $3. So if you're telling me you can't spend on a meal a day €5 to €6, right? You need to really have a chat with a business individual that you need to most certainly see where your value is at, because €5, €6, anything under a tenner is well, I'm going to say, affordable for every individual at this moment in time. Okay, so that's what I would always tell people. Food is not expensive, and the point is, you're spending your money somewhere else on this fancy ass phone that you have. You're listening to this podcast on. Okay, on that, I'm going to say, evaluate cup of coffee or tea or whatever you're having on a regular basis. Those processed foods, that pizza that you order, that takeaway that comes straight to your door, that you've paid €10-12 for it alone, that you didn't even have to walk for, you literally are shooting yourself in the foot. Foods are not expensive. The point is, you need to realize that you can get these foods and shopping in correct manners, such as the one food item that I've literally pointed out that costs you less than a tenner.
Yeah, it's all a perception. You know, it's like that. A Domino's pizza, sure, now it's about 15 or 17 quid, which when I come back to Ireland, I was shocked at when I saw, because it was about 8 years ago. But, you know, people are spending so much money on shite food, processed food, and literally poisoning themselves. And then they'll worry why they have no energy, bad mood, overweight, getting various diseases, all this type of stuff. When at the end of the day, you are what you eat, you know, and it's just about putting the time in. And it's like, even like you're outlining there some of the things that people can get. And that's even being pricey on some of those things. Because one thing I've noticed, the non-organic stuff, the price has gone up like skyrocketing. The organic price isn't too bad recently. And there isn't a huge difference between them now. It's like even on the potatoes, like and they're actually quite nice, organic potatoes. And I think it's $2.69 for 2 kilos. And then let's say the normal non-organic ones then are item from $2.49 to 3 something. So like they're getting closer and closer, you know, and the difference in taste is off the charts. And that's not even to put in where if you're willing to put in an extra time effort to actually grow the stuff yourself, you know, it's even cheaper again. Because like, you tell me how much are seeds, how much is a pack of the seeds, even a pack of spinach seeds.
Pack of spinach seeds could be roughly around €2. If someone on this listening to this podcast does not have €2, I will send them to Revolut, and they can literally grow their own seeds from that. Okay, what happens is then they harvest the spinach, it then goes to flower, then there will seeds be produced, and we can save those seeds. You then can sell those seeds, and you've actually made money from the €2 I give you. You have to give me the €2 back, and it's probably inflation. You now owe me €3, but don't worry about that. A year down the line. The point is, growing food is the most sustainable thing that you can do, not only for yourself, your family, but also the environment.
Completely. And look, over the last couple of decades, it's increasingly become obvious just the amount of shite that's been put onto our foods now in the growing process. Because at the end of the day, the quicker it can grow and the bigger it is, the more money that's made. And that goes for everything, whether it be plants, animals, whatever. And that's just industry, and that's profit, and that's the way the world works. But in doing that, they need to pump it with more shit all over it, more pesticides, more everything. And then we're taking that then into our bodies. So I always stress to people that, you know, it's for your health more than anything. You need to actually work on getting more organic, more healthier foods, more like even the more plant-based side of things. But once it's proper food, eat more whole food. I think that's only the starting point for most people. They need to eat more whole food because most people are eating mainly processed crap food. And growing your own then is the next step, because even buying some of the stuff that's in the shops, if you can't, again, afford inverted commas organic, the amount of crap on it is increasing all the time. Whereas if you grow your own stuff, then you control what's on it. And people, it's like for myself, that's why I've had a drive for it for the last few years. And like I said, like that, I've done various things and I've learned more off you in 15 minutes than others and for days and whatever. It's because I want to become self-sufficient, because I want to be in control of what's going into my body. I want to be in control, especially of what's going into my son, because again, he's, besides myself, the most important person in my life, and I want him to be healthy. I want him to live a good life and be as energetic and vibrant, and his brain to work and all that kind of stuff as much as possible. And I want him to be part of the process, which he is, in terms of growing the food. And the joy of doing that, of making something and seeing it grow, is huge. And for kids, it's really important. So it's definitely important to get kids involved in that. So different than getting kids involved in making a smoothie. I'll hear a lot of the time, oh, they won't drink a smoothie. Well, get them involved in the bloody process. Allow them cut up something. Allow them throw something in. Allow them choose what goes in. If kids are part of the process, they actually will love it, and they'll drink it if it's smoothie, or they'll eat the food if they've made it, because we all take pride in stuff that we're involved in. But people need to become more and more self-sufficient, because there's more and more stuff, as I say, going into foods that we don't want to be consuming, because they want to grow it faster and bigger. Because at the end of the day, that's profit, and that's the reality of the world we live in. So people need to move more self-sufficient, in terms of, like with that, even, again, going back to very simple steps. I know there's, again, get a bit of manure, get a bit of soil, get a couple of seeds. Like, packed of seeds are so cheap. Like, even for that spinach, how many seeds are in the bloody container for £2? And how many bits of spinach is that? And the thing is, if you take care of it, it keeps growing and growing and growing anyway. So, like, you've got endless spinach, basically, unless you don't take care of it, from one pack of seeds for £2. And the same goes for everything. Like, we've experienced that with lettuce, where the fucking thing was out of control. It's one thing we had huge success in the last year or two. And we grew it, and it would just grow nonstop every couple of weeks, about 6, 7, 8 heads of lettuce. Thankfully, we eat a lot of lettuce. Otherwise, we could do, like you said, Colman, sell the bloody thing and make money out of it. But you know what? Go on, yeah, what were you going to say there?
Just to point it, like, even on top of that, the seeds that we sown with myself and yourself and everyone else who was at that course on that day, rainbow chard. It's literally high in magnesium. People are taking it in supplements. Okay, I would always recommend people to eat more whole foods to get as many benefits from your food items and things you do on a regular basis, such as magnesium, such as fiber, such as the likes of every different, I'm going to say, micronutrient is located in that plant. The enjoyment of you harvesting it, okay, is when something is actually harvested. I'm all about nutrition as well. Suppose the second it's harvested, it actually decreases in its nutritional value. Okay, not to be worried about that if you're literally freaking out right now. I'm just telling you that that's what happens. Okay, it starts to wilt, it starts to wean, and as a result of that, the sooner that you can get your hands on it from the guy or the girl or individual or the he, she, whatever they're calling them these days, or the theys. You won't even go into it. But the point is, you literally gain more advantage when you literally have a rainbow chard. I'm going to tell you, Dave, you'll be eating rainbow chard. It'll be coming out your ears when you literally put those bad boys into the likes of the ground and or a pot or a polytunnel if you're going to upgrade to that in the near future, because it is one of the most simplest crops. Slugs don't even really like it. You can literally plant it once, and it literally, once you harvest as many leaves you possibly can, it grows up again to that stage of, okay, a huge, some people call it a monster. It produces a flower. It has hybrid flowers, and then it has seeds in it. Those seeds fall onto the ground. It's the cycle that we don't often see, but then you can gain the advantage of year on year without very little work. In fact, once you have it, David already has it done. He's the seeds planted day one. Once he puts it into the ground, even if he did very little after that, okay, once we're going into the winter months, it will absolutely thrive, because there's going to be no shortage of water, especially if you listen to this in Ireland. So he's literally going to be successful whatever he does. Even if he literally, all he does is put it in the ground, and it's going to literally be a winner for him.
Yeah, the hard work is done now, which is the great thing you explained. It's that first couple of weeks and then doing that properly. But in case I forget of it later, I just came into my head as you're talking, because this is like a real aha moment for me, which went against everything I'd ever heard before. Explain to people, when they see damaged leaves, holes in leaves and things, whether that's a good or a bad thing.
Yeah, great point. I don't kind of mention these, and this question came off the bat of just at the course that we're at, and it's what makes the courses, each and every one, different. I haven't got asked this before. Someone says, oh, Coleman, that leaf there is damaged, or that carrot has a little bit of a bang out the side of it. Do you know what I mean? Will I cut that bit off? And I would say, Jesus, no. I'd actually try and get as many holes as I could in my carrots, maybe for the advantage of higher antioxidants. Antioxidants reduce stress. Who here would like less stress? Put my hands up, so I'm eating as many holes in food items, whether it be an apple that I actually had there this morning that had literally a hole gone out of it from a bird pecking in it. That plant and that fruit then produces higher chemical compounds. Those are called those antioxidants. Okay, just literally, they're just beneficial colors. And typically it goes red, whether it be a carrot from the likes of the sun, okay, or the food item, maybe I'm going to say a caterpillar that took a bite out of, let's say, that leaf. You then gained advantage of it being better for you. So all the time, you wouldn't typically see a carrot or an apple that has been bent or misshapen. But remember that if you're eating food that has, we call it ugly fruit or vegetables, you are actually getting much more benefits out the other side of it. And that can actually be cheaper for you, especially if you're going to a country market or you're going directly to the farm gate. Because there's an abundance of fruit and vegetables that are not straight, that are forked, that are twisted, that have a hoop in it, and that you can literally get cheaper if you're looking to, I suppose, get your best bang for your buck. And how do you do that? You try and shake the hand that literally produced that food item, so you can see how and gain the advantage of being that little bit healthier. And antioxidants are going to literally help you thrive. You're glowing as a result of that, because a lot of people say when they go on either a plant-based diet or increase the production or consumption of more fruits and vegetables, that you're glowing. That's because of your gut is helping the largest organ in your body, your skin, to get more nutrients as a result of that.
Yeah, and that's such an important point, because we hear so little about fruits and veg, apart from the odd time you hear you should aim for about 5 portions a day, which is madness. Like, it's so little, and the mad thing is so few people even hit 5. But like, you hear so much about protein. You hear high protein, low protein, high carb, low carb, high fat, low fat, sugar, all these different things, when what the focus really should be on in terms for health and well-being, energy, skin, hair, all these different benefits, mood, brain function, fruits and vegetables. Because at the end of the day, that's your baseline, that's your foundation, that's your vitamins, minerals, your antioxidants, your chlorophyll, all these different things that people actually need. Like, we need to get more and more of that stuff into our body as a basic foundation. And then you can worry yourself about what carbs you get in, what bit of protein might get if you get healthy fats. Like, they're all important, but there's so much importance on fruits and vegetables as your baseline, your foundation, and build the other things on top of it. If you ate predominantly only fruits and vegetables, you'd be very healthy. It's adding the other things on top, then add those extra nutrients your body needs for different functions. Whereas the world's the total flip. We don't put any bloody emphasis on fruits and vegetables, apart from the odd mention, like I said, of 4 or 5 portions a day. And it's all carbs, fats, proteins, which again is all obviously tied into food industry and low fat and high fat and low protein and no sugar and all this type of stuff that's out there selling products. And this is where people need to get educated on the reality. It goes back to what I said at the very start. Never been so much information out there. Never been so many inverted commas experts out there. But there's a lot of BS out there. And it's important again to hear the bloody truth and the simple steps. It's very simple. Eat fruits and veg, just like drink more water. Like, there's very simple things that people need to do. And within a very short period of time, you'll feel better.
Yeah, the point that take information from people you like, know, and trust. Everybody has an opinion. It's like assholes. They're all, and each individual has one. But the point is, you need to pick a circle of 5 odd people, okay? Whether it's Dave, myself, or whoever you want to put in it, okay? And take that information on board and put it into practice. Whether it's that nutrition that we've been talking a lot about here today, I suppose that mindset of surrounding yourself with positive people, okay? Stop listening to the news. It's absolutely doom and gloom. And up till this weekend, there's nothing good on the telly until I get on it again. So don't be bothered watching it until I tell you that I'm going to be on it again.
I love it. But it's such important points. Like, people stop watching TV. The power of that's unbelievable. The power of being conscious of who's in your circle, and being good and strict at eliminating where needed, or at least limit exposure. Like, you become who you're around. And some people are better off to bring it right back to just themselves for a period of time, because the people who are in their lives are completely toxic. What they're consuming is toxic, whether you're watching stuff, reading stuff, listening to stuff. It's like, and I'm sure that you're the same. Any opportunity you get, you're reading, watching, listening to stuff that's, whether it be podcasts, audiobooks, stuff like that, that's going to feed your mind. You're very conscious of the people you connect with, interact with, be around, because the power it has on your energy and the impact it has on your energy. And again, like, time is too precious to waste, and you're too precious to waste as well, in terms of we need to live our best lives. It goes damn fast. And, all these things matter. What you eat, what you feed your mind, what you feed your body, all these things really matter. And people need to become more conscious of it and learn basically the facts and take action on it.
Massively. The thing is, when you start doing more things that benefit you, you gain advantage of being happier, you become healthier. And that's what I want more people to do. Do the simple things. Okay. It's not about being perfect. Dave's not perfect. I'm not perfect, or anyone else for that matter, inclusive of the people that you are looking up to. Nobody's life is 100% a-okay. And it's all right to most certainly feel sad on a given day, because we're talking about positivity. We're talking about things that benefit you. But the thing about it is, what you're looking for is an improvement. Okay. It's the compound effect. It's how I suppose, live my life. You're just looking for yesterday to be better, or today to be better than yesterday. And that comes off the back of you just realizing that you can do more. You can get up 5 minutes earlier. You can make one healthier food choice. You can choose something organic over conventional just on one occasion. Okay. Because I want people literally to be the best version of themselves. And that comes from the foods that you eat and the people that you surround yourself with and information that you also consume.
And again, it's like one of the things you said there, which is bringing things back to very simple things. Today be better than yesterday. And if people can just embrace that, today be better than yesterday, this week be better than last week, like just small steps in the right direction, and be conscious of that and consciously live their lives to make positive steps, then things have to improve. Like, if people did one positive thing a day for a whole year, the life will be completely different at the end of that year. And that might be just, again, eating one more vegetable. It could be having a glass of water, doing 5 minutes exercise. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, it doesn't have to be huge, monumental leaps in your life. It's just something that you're not doing right now that will be a positive step if you do it. And do that then consistently every day. Like, I'm very big on growth and evolving every day myself. You're the same, Colman. People who are doing things, making things happen in their lives, achieving some form of success, whatever you perceive that is. And most importantly, people who are happy, that's what they're doing. They're in control of their life. They're doing things. Also, an important point as well, you are in control of creating your happiness and all, like you said, but what that does as well is, life is a roller coaster. You will have really shitty times as well as you'll have amazing times. But when you get yourself in a good place and you are happier and you're in control of different areas of your life, when you have the shitty times, you can deal with it better and you react more positively to it. You go into solution mode quicker. Whereas when you're in a bad place and you're not taking control of your health and well-being and all those areas, you can often stay in that kind of darkness. It can be very hard to get out of it. So, all that we're talking about, it not just helps you to thrive, it also helps you to react better in darkness, which is inevitable for everybody. That's just part of life. As I said, it's a roller coaster. We couldn't grow if we didn't have dark times. We need both. And a lot of time, there's more dark than light in life journey. But as I said, the dark times are crucial to allow you to grow, then to become the person you can become and realize your full potential if you want it enough. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I suppose that does bring us kind of full circle of the whole emphasis is there was no one listening to me when I was on the likes of Snapchat day one, singing and whistling about, and no one ever heard of Colman. Right now, there's more people, and there's still people that don't know about Colman. And the idea is there was no one listening to me down here, and there was a few more people. I'm in the middle. You could say I'm only starting, and then when I go further down the line, in a year, in 5 years, the idea is there's going to be more. And that's the whole growth mindset, the idea of sowing the seed today to gain advantage in the future.
Exactly. And putting in the work. That's it. And living your passion. Like, and you clearly are living your passion. We spoke before we come on about, again, it's like weekends, what are they type idea. And it's, you can only do that if you live in your passion. Again, everyone, that's another thing. People have the power to live their passion. You don't have to work on a job or live a life that you hate. If you don't like where you are right now, any area of it, change it. You control that. You literally hold the pen writing your script of your life. Like Colman, in the last few years, he has written the script. That's why he is achieving what he is right now. It came from setting a goal, having a vision, reminding himself of that, putting into work. He's writing the script of his life, just like I've written the script of my life, and we'll continue doing that. And you do the same. Whatever your life is like right now, you've written the script to make it this way, both the past and the present, and you're writing towards impact in the future then as well. So like Colman said at the start, you've been on an amazing journey, and it's great what's going on the last few years. You've really taken off with some rocket fuel, some Elon Musk rocket fuel up to Mars. So hopefully it'll continue that way, you know. Just as a close off, any final points or message you'd like to give to anyone listening or watching?
I suppose final points for anyone listening and watching this major podcast is, what I want you to do is, I don't want you to just certainly go through the motions, right? Do what everyone else, I'm going to say the average people do. If you want more, you have to do more. Okay. People say, and you'll find it on social media right now, the well looked after, I suppose, polished diamonds that are there. You just need to relax. You need to take yoga into your life. I'm going to tell you, you don't need to do that right now. If you're listening to this podcast, you are looking to excel, okay? And excel at your life is what I most certainly am doing right now. And how do you do that? You get up in the morning, you get clear on what you want, and you work towards it. Too many people do the average. If you do the average, you'll be the average, okay? You want to be above average, you do a little bit more. Just be 1% better. Right? That's getting up earlier. That's making the better food choices. That's turning down the laptop which has the ads of whatever biscuit chocolate cake or some, I want to say something that you don't really need, and you clicking into that and going down the rabbit hole and wasting time. Time is one thing you cannot get back. And it's a combination of, I suppose, growing your own and getting outside and eating healthy to reach whatever, I suppose, fitness level and or health gain that you want to do on any given day. So realize that you can do more, and don't say that you can't, because the person who says they can't and the person who says they can, they're both right.
Exactly. So tell us what's coming up for you, Colman. Like, what do you want to share in terms of what people tell about your book, where they can get it, like courses that are coming, anything else is coming, you know, media appearances, so people can keep following you. And I'll be in the show notes, I'll be sharing all the links anyway to Colman and website, social media notes. Make sure you check him out. As well as being highly educational, it's very, very entertaining. And it's where, like, you know, you could see his personality. It's fantastic. It's an energetic, it's a you know, it's a nice personality he has, and it's enthusiastic and it's passionate. And his stuff, he has a good mix between educating people and also making it fun and funny. So make sure you follow him on all the different platforms. But yeah, share what's coming up for you.
So I suppose, yeah, if people want to get in touch with me, my social medias, again, we talked about it. I'm simple. It's my name. It's not overscore, underscore, minus, plus, minus, 0.0, XYZ, #no. It's Colman. It's Colman. No E in there. Otherwise, Ronnie Coleman may come up. He's a completely different guy. If anyone does know him, there's similar traits, but not so much.
Same size.
For people that think I'm a massive man, I am 70. I don't weigh myself that often. 3 to 5 kg roughly. It might be 75 at the minute. After my birthday, I am 5'7", a slice of heaven, and I really want people to realize that. Okay, I'm not that big. I'm not that scary. I'm super driven. I'm super passionate. I like putting information in, I suppose, a humorous way, because I learned completely different in the 90s when I was in school. It was learn this, write it down, piece of paper, get another piece of paper. That's what happened to me, and I didn't really enjoy that. I was like, would someone just literally crack a small bit of a joke in between why I have to learn this algebra? And that was kind of it in a nutshell. But to get back onto that point, my social medias are my name. So it's Colman, Colman, and then second name Power, Power. Organic Fitness is my company. And after that, my next Grow Your Own course, depending on if this comes out before it, is the 7th of October. That is in Kildare. If not, I also will be having ones later on in the year. I do different events, whether you are somebody in a company and or a primary school or secondary school that would like myself to come and set yourself up with an orchard, which allows the school then to be self-sufficient, is something that I'm doing, and a project of mine on my to-do list over here, to get and connect with as many schools as I possibly can. And that's why I was talking about that in the Virgin TV show on Saturday. The point is that if anyone's looking to either join any of my courses, whether it be the weight loss program and or the positive mindset or the Grow Your Own, just send me a message on social medias. And it's Colman Power, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, podcast every single Thursday for the last 3 years. I'm the most committed, healthiest man in Ireland. If you know anyone else healthier, I'd love to meet him, her, they, she, or they.
That's it. Get them all in. It's been a pleasure having you on, and you know, loads of information there, and look, a lot of value. Like, we could talk for hours and hours and hours, and that's only like a snippet of what we could share. But thanks for coming on. I know you're a busy dude, and I love what's going on for you, and I can only see it going one direction. I wish you huge success, and it's only going to go that direction for sure. And thanks for being on the Mind Body Health podcast. So guys, that's the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed that. Make sure you rate, review, subscribe, leave any comments. I think it's comments on Spotify now. Obviously, YouTube can be the same. So leave any details there. Make sure you follow Colman on all the different social medias you'll see in the show notes. All the various links will be there. And if you have questions, comments, feedback, suggestions, anything about the podcast or anything that we've spoken about, make sure again you can message me on any of the social media or fire us an email or the contact page on our website. So go out there, have a good one. And two mottos again. Remember, live life fully and live in fear of regret. Have a good one.